the Arctic does not forgive weakness. At -60 degrees Celsius, the air itself turns into a weapon. Every breath burns the lungs, every step on the frozen earth feels like walking over glass. The wind doesn't whistle, it screams, ripping through layers of fur and wool, finding every gap, every flaw. This is the coldest inhabited frontier of our planet, a place where metal shatters, engines freeze, and only the hardiest forms of life endure. Here, morning begins not with sunlight, but with silence. The horizon glows faintly blue, a ghostly light that never fully warms the land. Snowdrifts cover entire homes, and the trees stand frozen, encased in frost thicker than bark. This is a world where survival isn't about adventure, it's about endurance. In a remote Arctic settlement far from roads, far from electricity, a handful of people still choose to live as their ancestors did. No modern comforts, no machines. Only the rhythm of nature, and the unyielding cold that shapes every heartbeat. The day begins before dawn. Inside a small wooden cabin half buried in snow, a faint glow flickers through the frosted window. It's the light of a reindeer fat lamp. The air inside is heavy with smoke and frozen breath. A man named Semyon rises slowly from beneath a pile of furs. He is 63 years old, a reindeer herder born in the tundra. His joints ache from years of cold, but he moves without complaint. The Arctic does not pause for pain. He pushes open the cabin door. It resists, frozen solid. A sharp crack echoes as he forces it open with his shoulder. Outside, the wind bites instantly. The thermometer nailed to the wall reads -59 degrees Celsius. The kind of cold that steals sound, numbs the skin in seconds, and makes even words freeze in the mouth. Semyon squints toward the distant snow plains, where his herd lies scattered. Reindeer, his family's lifeline for generations. They provide food, clothing, transport, everything. But at these temperatures, even they struggle. The animals huddle together, breath rising like steam in the dawn light. He pulls his fur hat tighter and begins the walk. There are no roads here, no machines to help. Just endless white stretching to the horizon. Each step crunches softly, a rhythm that echoes across the emptiness. In this world, silence is not absence, it's presence. The land speaks through it. Back in the settlement, smoke curls from a single chimney. Inside Anfisa, Simone's wife, is preparing tea. The kettle is a blackened metal pot, heated over a wood stove fed by birch logs. There is no running water. She melts snow for every cup, every wash. The effort is constant, the work unending. She folds her shawl tighter around her shoulders and checks the bread she baked the night before. Dense rye loaves, hardened by the cold but rich with the scent of smoke. This bread, a small thing in other worlds, is a victory here. As the pale sun rises, more a pale circle than a source of heat, the day begins for the entire village. A handful of families emerge from their homes, faces wrapped, eyes half hidden behind frost. The sound of an axe rings through the stillness as wood is split for the fires that must never go out. By midday, the temperature has risen to a merciful -54 degrees Celsius. For most of the world, that would be unthinkable. Here, it's almost comfortable. The herders gather by the frozen river, checking their traps and inspecting the sleds. Hunting and fishing remain essential, not for sport, but for survival. The river, solid as stone, conceals beneath it the only source of fresh fish for months. Semyon kneels and scrapes away the ice at a hole he carved days ago. The surface has frozen thick again, nearly 20 centimeters of clear, glass-like ice. He swings his pickaxe, slow and methodical. Chips fly like shards of light. When the hole is open, he lowers his line, wrapped in sealskin to prevent sticking. He waits. There is no rush in the Arctic. Time has no sharp edges. Minutes or hours make little difference. Finally, the line tugs. He pulls gently, and a small Arctic char emerges, shimmering with silver and blood-red hues. A meal earned honestly, one life taken for another to continue. He murmurs quietly, Spasibo. Thank you, a word carried by the wind, half prayer, half habit. In the distance, a storm begins to form. Clouds, dark and swollen, crawl across the sky like smoke from a dying fire. The villagers move quickly. They know the signs. A blizzard can erase an entire settlement in hours. By afternoon, the wind rises. It howls over the tundra, picking up snow in furious waves. Visibility drops to nothing. The air turns white. Even breathing becomes difficult. The snow crystals slice into the face like sandpaper. Semyon urges the reindeer toward the sheltering forest, his voice barely audible above the roar. The animals sense the storm's anger and push forward, heads low, eyes glazed with frost. The sled behind them rattles across the ice, its wooden frame creaking under strain. Back at home, Anfisa braces the door with logs, sealing every crack with cloth. The walls shudder as the wind pounds against them. Inside, she keeps the fire alive. It's the thin line between warmth and death. Hours pass. The world outside vanishes. Snowdrifts rise like frozen waves, burying fences, covering windows. Inside, the cabin glows orange from the flicker of flame. Anfisa sits close to the stove, knitting by the dim light, her hands steady despite the cold. When the storm finally passes, silence returns, deep, endless, overwhelming. The land looks new, reshaped. Paths are gone, landmarks buried. Only instinct guides Semyon back home. His beard is thick with ice, his eyelashes frozen together. Every breath rasps in his chest. But when he reaches the cabin and sees smoke rising, a quiet smile forms on his frostbitten face. The world may be brutal, but it is also beautiful in its honesty. He opens the door, and the warm air hits him like a blessing. Enfisa pours tea, black, strong, slightly smoky. Steam curls upward, catching the light. For a moment, nothing else matters. They drink in silence, eyes on the fire, listening to the wood crackle. Survival, in this place, is not about victory. It's about continuity. Another day lived, another dawn earned. Later that evening, Semyon must check on the herd again. Reindeer don't understand safety. They follow the wind, even into danger. As night falls, he straps on his boots, wraps himself in fur, and steps out once more. The temperature has dropped below -60°C again. The air feels solid, heavy. Frost crystals dance in his headlamps, beam like glittering dust. Each inhale burns, each exhale freezes in his beard. The herd is far, too far. A few reindeer have wandered near the riverbank, dangerously close to the thin ice formed by underground springs. He hears a sharp crack, a sound no Arctic dweller mistakes. Ice breaking, he runs, his boots sinking deep in snow. Another crack, a reindeer's front leg plunges through the ice. Panic spreads. The animal struggles, thrashing helplessly. In this cold, seconds matter. He throws himself forward, gripping the reins, pulling with all his weight. The ice groans beneath him. Water sprays instantly freezing in the air. With one final heave, the reindeer lurches free, collapsing on the snow. Its fur steams in the freezing air. Semyon collapses beside it, chest heaving, his breath forming clouds. He sits there for a long moment, staring into the white emptiness, exhausted but alive. By dawn, the storm has passed. The herd is safe, and the fire inside the cabin still burns. Outside, the Arctic lies silent again, untouched and eternal. The sun rises weakly, a pale disk behind curtains of ice mist. Semyon stands at the doorway, watching the horizon. Behind him, Enfisa stirs the morning tea. Another day begins, indistinguishable from the last. And yet, every day here feels sacred. In this world, time moves slowly, carved by frost and wind. The people who remain do not fight the cold. They live with it, molded by its discipline, defined by its silence. Their lives are a conversation with nature, spoken in breath and endurance. The Arctic asks for everything and gives nothing freely. But for those who stay, it offers something the modern world has forgotten, meaning, born from hardship and peace, found in survival. In the world's coldest land, survival is not an act of defiance, it is a way of life.